Well, I like the two wins, and I like when we share the basketball, and we've been playing pretty good defense. Um, I still think we can get better. You know, when you play against better competition, they're going to find those weaknesses that you have defensively, and so we've got to get back in the gym today and Tuesday and Wednesday and really kind of get together defensively a little bit more. Um, and then we got offensively too. You know, when teams are pressing us, we can't turn the ball over. We had some really kind of easy turnovers. We gave them the ball, and it was just something that we've got to clean that up. But we've got Oklahoma Christian and Cameron coming in this weekend, so we open conference play, and those will be two big ones for us.
6 out of the 7 games you've won by at least double-digit margins over your opponents. So
I like that.
yeah, and I looked at the stats last night of what you guys are doing in the Lone Star Conference and point production and things like that. Or you guys are in either first or top 3, and Fontaine is right there with you guys. That offensive production is huge. 2 straight 100-point games. Is that something that you guys really focused on in the off season?
Well, I don't know if we really focused on it in the off season as much as I think we have guys that are, you know, that can really score the basketball. We've got guys that can pass it, shoot it, and dribble, and you know, it's you get them into the system, you put the right guys in the right system, and things work out pretty good. You know, last year at this time we were undefeated as well, and then we kind of trailed off, and you know, we still made the national tournament, but you know, it's a long ways to go. We're only a fifth of the season, basically. Basically a fifth is gone of the season right now with the 7 games. You know, we play 30 regular season games, and then the conference tournament, and then the national tournament. So we do like to score the basketball when we're good. When we had Quay Grant and JoJo and Larry Wise and you know, Hayden Blankley and Ryan Quaid, I can go right down the list. Gotch, Brandon Hall. You know, I didn't even mention Zach Toussaint, but I'll throw his name in there as well. You know, we could really score, and that's what I think. That's what's fun with the game is getting up and down the court. You've got to get stops to win, and if you can't play defense, you can't outscore everybody. And there's going to be nights where you maybe go a little bit cold. And so defensively, like I said, we've got to get better defensively, but offensively, right now we're playing pretty well.
A name you may be able to add to that list in the future, Fontaine. He had a couple big games for you guys against Justice and Fort Lewis.
He did, and you know, to start the game against Fort Lewis, I thought he was a little sketchy there. He had the turnover, and then he didn't have a hard cut to get open. And you know, we need him as a leader, but we also, you know, we need everybody as a leader. I thought James really stepped up in that Fort Lewis game. He had four assists in the first half, got to the basket, and you know, he's a player that he knows how to win. He's been on some very good teams. He's very tough to guard. He can knock down threes. He hasn't taken many threes, but he can shoot it. And you know, we've got a lot of guys that can shoot it, and so we spread the floor a little bit. And you know, Fontaine can get to the bucket. I think Cam can get to the bucket. You know, Brennan Ballard hasn't even really kind of tipped the scales yet of what he can do. I think he's going to get so much better, and he's still figuring it out defensively a little bit, but he's also a very good player. And you know, we got guys coming off the bench. Zach Brown is doing really well. I think his defense has been really good, and you know, he's shooting at a high percentage right now. So when you have guys that can do that coming in for you, it really allows you to be very versatile as a team.
So,
Go ahead.
I was going to say someone else you mentioned was Brock. You know, he kind of had the slow start coming off
Yeah.
the injury from last year, but he really seems like he's starting to find his groove as well.
I thought he played great both games this weekend. He was someone that got us going. You know, we were down 5-0 to start, and then he comes off a little pin down screen and knocks down a 3. And, you know, it's not just Brock shooting it, it's the guy making the pass at the right time, our screener setting the screen, setting it up. And so, you know, it's all the guys working together. And Fontaine might have a few more points than others, but there's other guys that are just as valuable as Fontaine. And again, he's scoring some points, which is great. You got to put points on the board, but it's all those other guys. It's, you know, Jalen Sledge is really playing well. His defense is really, really good. Brendan is getting there, and once his defense gets a little bit better, I think he can be like Jalen in that regard. And then, like you said, Brock is playing really well. Brock can guard a 1, 2, 3, 4, and sometimes a 5. And you know, when he can do that, now we've got 5 guys on the other end that can all shoot it, and so it puts some stress on the other team, that's for sure.
I want to talk about free throws because when it comes down to these tight games, those are the ones that are going to help you win the game. Fontaine leads everybody in the Lone Star Conference in free throw shooting, 94.1%, and then the team, I believe, also does in percentage, just over 80%. You guys are hitting those kind of free points when the clock are stopped. Talk a little bit about that. And
Yeah,
how
that's
improved.
no, that's a great point. And when you can shoot over 80% as a team, that's a really good stat. And you've got a couple guys that are in the 90s there with Fontaine, and I think Cam is actually shooting pretty well. When you get we had a few technicals that we shot this weekend, and so we got guys kind of chomping at the bit who wants to go shoot them, and there's no shortage of players that want to step up and go take those shots. And we've had we've got some guys that can get up there and knock down free throws, from Brock to Kemper to Jalen. Well, Jalen's struggling a little bit, but Fontaine, like you said, is in the 90s right now, and he's not even hitting the rim. So it's nice to be able to have that. Now we just have to get there more. We're 7-0, and the other team has gotten to the free throw line more than us. I don't know how that happens when they have to foul at the end of the game to get back in, and so I'm watching film. I'm trying to figure out how we can play without fouling as much. And so it's one of those things that, again, we want to be, making more free throws than the other team shoots. Right now, the other team is shooting more than we're shooting, and we're 7-0. So we've got to really kind of figure that out, and we've got to stop fouling so much and still play physical, but without fouling.
You mentioned it. You're 7-0. You got a pretty good Oklahoma Christian team on Thursday. I think they're 4-1.
Yep.
What have you seen in film on them so far?
I have. Then they've got 5 or 6 guys that can really play. They've got a big kid inside. They've got a quick little guard. I don't know all the names right now. I'm just kind of breaking them down, and Cameron as well, trying to break them down. But Oklahoma Christian has got some talent from what I've heard, talking to a few coaches that have played them and have seen them play. They will be very good. I think Coach Talley does a great job with his guys, and they'll be ready to go. It's the conference opener, so it'll be a big game for both teams.